Kane, it's 1-0. We're fucking down. 13th in the championship. The takeover happened as I said it would. People will be. Oh, when have we got Leeds? Now then, people, welcome back to the Just Your Football Show. It is time for the final word. The final word as Leeds United destroyed Norwich City yesterday 4-0 and are now just one win away from promotion. I'm lucky enough to have Lockie and Joe here, who were both at the game, by the way. We will be joined a little bit later on by Luke and Carl as well when they're finished over on Ought to Know Better. Leeds now know who their final opponent is, and my confidence has just dropped a little, but I want to try talk about the positives first before we even look ahead to that, because yesterday was absolutely phenomenal. Some saying it's the best atmosphere they've ever experienced at Ellen Road. Some saying it's the best performance of the season. So let's talk about that first, because it certainly was up there. Lockie, you were at the game. How was it in the ground, mate?
Wow. I spoke with him about
Someone said it was emotional, the intro to your video.
Oh, yeah. I was.
Did you cry?
No. I made one when I got home after the game. No, mate. I was talking about when I was a kid, and I used to go and watch Viduka and all them lot, and I felt like that. That's what it felt like when I went back in. I was in awe of everything around me. I was a lot of the time when I was watching the game, I was just looking at the crowd and going, "This is us. This is Leeds United." You know, it felt so special. And that's why I'm so confident. The second you went in there, you could feel before the game, everyone was buzzing, the crowd was singing constantly. I don't think there was a second of silence the entire game. It was unbelievable. Every tackle, we're booing all their players when they touch the ball. And I'm watching them players, you know, like Nonto, Viduka, thinking of Viduka, you know, when Perot touched the ball, that's like watching Viduka again. I used to love Aaron Lennon, he used to be one of my favourite players. When Nonto got the ball on that right wing, I was imagining Aaron Lennon. That's what it felt like. I felt like I was watching the people I grew up, you know, idolising, the people that made me want to love football. And I got that feeling again. That's just what I've got back in me now. It really felt like that. It honestly, mate, it was absolutely, well, I have no words still. It was so special. So special.
It was. Joe, how was it for you? I'm just laughing because everyone's absolutely hammering Southampton for that pitch invasion. Like, they've just invaded the pitch to get to the. I don't get it, because you might not. You don't do it anyway. That's irrelevant. Talk about
if they lose next Sunday, they're going to look so stupid.
That's what I'm saying, Joe. This is what I'm saying. You've got to keep your powder dry with that stuff, haven't you? And that's coming from me, who never keeps his powder dry with his predictions, to be honest. So, if I'm saying it, then you know something's up. Joe, how was it for you in the ground, mate?
Oh, it was absolutely fantastic. It was one of those where you walk in and you're like, right, okay, I'm not sitting down for a single moment of this match, am I? Because no one is going to let any of this atmosphere drop. And there were a couple of times where I looked across the West End and I saw a few people, they'd get a chance and a couple of people stood up and I was like, how have you gotten the chance to do that? And it was a weird one because I was right in front of the Norwich fans, and for a little bit of the game, they were trying to sort of out voice the home side, and it was like, fair enough. Well, yeah, well in. That's what you're here to do. And then slowly but surely, you could feel them get quieter and quieter and quieter towards the end. And when we got to various songs about their centre forward, they just started joining in because they're like, yeah, he is a bit, isn't he? And it was just a fantastic evening, wasn't it? Started great, kept getting better. No problems with that in the slightest.
The best thing about it for me was the players' reaction to it. They didn't feel an inch of fear. They didn't feel an inch of it. They absolutely loved it. You could see Joe Perot. It was quicker than usual. It was quicker than he usually is. Joe Perot sprinting past 3 people at one point. And that's what the crowd can do to you. Every time we went forward, I truly believed we could score. And we looked so dangerous and aggressive and intense. It was brilliant. Every player stepped up. Every single one of them. Yeah. And that's why I'm so confident right now.
Yeah, and you have every reason to be confident, I guess, in that respect, mate. I don't want to focus on the final. We need to keep it on last night. Lockie, I think the most interesting thing for me, or most enjoyable thing from the evening, obviously, when you considered how much stick, rightly or wrongly, they'd received in the last few weeks. I myself am not exempt from that. You know, Melier, for example, being one. We've criticised certain individuals, and every single man. There wasn't one bad performance. If anything, they had the best performances. We talk about Pirot, for example, as a 9. I mean, it might have took him 48 games, but he played like a 9 yesterday, you know, and he was involved in nearly all the goals. There was we've spoken about his touch in the centre of the pitch. Yesterday, it all just came off. He was turning man, and he was then laying it into Somerville-Orton, onto, etc. So, Melier, for example, if he scores that goal, Sargent, it's a different game. It is a different game. Ellen Road becomes nervous. We still might win it, but it had just really sapped it a little bit. And that save, if anything, increased the atmosphere another level. When you look at the reaction to it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so
unbelievable.
Everyone stood up, right? Like, even Farker as well. I was concerned the 4-2-3-1. Oh, I'm not too sure. Should he have kept it the same? Well, everything he touched yesterday was just amazing, and the players as well. Like, talk to me about some of them individual performances, man.
Yeah, well, I mentioned Farker first, and I mentioned it in the chat earlier. There's a change in Daniel Farker this game and last game. He's a lot more animated. And I mean, when I say animated, I mean he's telling players what to do constantly. He never usually does that. He usually does it every now and again. Periods he'll do that, and then he'll just stand there and watch. Every second he was telling someone what to do. And I think he's realised that these young lads need that. I think maybe when he's there and he's a bit passive and he's kind of watching them, giving them that responsibility, maybe they've not got that experience to know what to do. So maybe he's understood. He's the one here that has to tell them more, and that's fine. You know, coaches coach. I feel like Pep Guardiola, Klopp, they're always constantly telling their players what to do. And that's a change that Daniel Farker's made, I think, because he was very animated and it worked. The players were reacting to it. They were doing exactly what we were telling them and it was working. So that's something that I think he's changed recently, that he's realised he's had to do. And individually, I want to talk about Archie Gray. There was a moment at the end where you just seen it, Joe. I don't know if it was on TV, but at the end, he was just stood in the middle of the pitch, just taking it all in. And I swear, it was beautiful. He was looking at everyone because he was one of us. He was one of us in them stands when he was a kid, just like we were when we were young, sat in those stands wanting to be one of them footballers. That was him. That's what he was. And now he's the one playing. He's doing it and they're all singing his name. That must be the best feeling in the world. Yeah, and it's a young lad that's realising that this is his dream and he's doing it. And he was unbelievable yesterday. Unbelievable. The way in which the decision making was on point, his recovery speed, the way he just runs forward. He's an underrated athlete, Archie Gray. We always talk about how good he is, but he's an unbelievable athlete. He's so quick and powerful for an 18-year-old. And he's just going to get bigger and stronger. I was so proud of him. That save from Meslier is absolutely vital. That could be the biggest moment in the playoffs if we go up. It genuinely could be, because we don't know what would happen if that goes in. You know what I mean? Unbelievable save. I'm looking at Junior Firpo, who seems to be a leader in that team now. Seen some stuff online of him leading the players, telling them what to do. Wow. The midfield again stepped up. Kamara taking more risks. I love it because he's an excellent player. And then the front four. What can I say about the front four? There's I don't know if more frightening front four than them when they're on it. It's unbelievable. It's unstoppable. That's the word I've been using. When this fan base is like that and these players react to it like that, we are unstoppable. We are. But we've got to do that again. There's one more time we've got to do that. But yeah, honestly, Joe, I could talk about any player. I'll just quickly mention Rota because, you know, as someone who's stuck up for him through thick and thin, it's good to see. He could have got another one or two, so could have Perot, let's be honest, but they turned up when they needed to and they loved it. That was it. I think just they felt like they were enjoying it as well. It felt like there was never really a moment where they were that nervous. They were just enjoyed it. They were loving it. Yeah. So take that to Wembley.
Definitely. Joe, anything more to add on some of them performances? What about Mez? Because I know you were... Yeah.
Oh, I'm feeling smug right now after that one from Milan. Oh. Not a good.
Do you know what as well? Farker called him the best keeper in the league in his post-match, and I was going, I said that, I can, and then I thought, no, you've criticised him for the last few weeks. Leave it alone, Joe.
Yeah, he had. It was exactly what me and JT were saying a couple of weeks ago, where it's harder to make the saves when you don't have any saves to make except the one chance. And your great keeper is differentiated from your all right keeper by if they make that save or not. And whilst it was really, really, really early in the game, it still had the vibe of it's been a long time since they've had the ball, and it's going to be a long time until they get another chance. And it's that one where if Mellier's not switched on, the game swings like that, because everyone thinks 5 years ago it's that same end. It's the same thing with a ball through the middle and the centre-back screws up, and then that's where the crowd starts to go. But the fact that he dealt with that, perfect. Brilliant. And just quickly on sort of what Lockie was saying with the Rutter thing, having I'm going to sort of bring it down to like a sort of like Sunday League-y, six-a-side-y level. Rutter is that player where when he's feeling like he wants to be a prick, he's unplayable. When he's feeling like, okay, I'll just take you on then, that's fine. When he's feeling, okay, I can be a little bit selfish, when he's feeling himself, perfect. And that's what I think we've got back. And if we get that next Sunday, I think he'll be basically unstoppable. I really enjoyed it. It was great. Yeah. Everyone was at their best.
It was. You're right. We've had a fair few super chats come in, so let me get to them. Sean Ely said, Saints have had their cup final tonight, a bit like when Derby beat us. I mean, listen, West Brom weren't up to much. The game in the first half was shocking. The scoreline looks better than the actual game was. I think the penalty wasn't, but they should have had one in the first half, to be honest. So I think the ref just evened it up. But Southampton on the pitch. There you go. We will dust Southampton. The Leeds United axe of death is about to land 3-0 Leeds. It would be nice. It would be nice. We all remember Watford in that game, so it'd be nice to be on the other end of that. Toby Ward says, I'm nervous, but play like yesterday and we will win. Saints didn't score all first half tonight. Leeds scored 3 in 45 minutes. So let's pray, huh? Marching on together. And big up to Abdul Rahman Al Khalifi, as always. He says, hello, Joe and friends. Sorry if I offend anyone here, but I hate Sunak so much. Please, my beloved Leeds beat Southampton even more now. My confidence in the team is even more now. Wembley pitch will suit our boys more. Leeds, marching on together. Honestly, listen, I don't want to go into politics. I did it a death on my watch long and get shouted at. But the whole of the Ellen Road singing, did it, fuck the Tories as we're winning. Trust me, it'll happen because we're working class, etc., etc. And I also agree with you, Abdul Rahman. Let's beat them and the Tories.
Just a quick one. What do the Tories and Southampton fans tonight have in common?
Go on.
Neither of them are keeping their seats.
There we go. I like that. I like that, mate. Lockie, I've been musing over this at the end of the game, and I thought I'd save it to ask you folks. With the impact the Southampton midfield can have on games, Flynn Downs, Will Smallbone scored a goal again tonight, ghosting from midfield and finding the back of the net. Do we have to go back to a 4-3-3 to have an extra man in midfield?
So who we changing? That's what I'd ask.
I think does Roberts go in at right back or Byram, and
so
then
bring Archie in.
Bring Archie into midfield, yeah.
But
I'm not saying even though change it, but do we have to do that because of the threat that Southampton holds, or would you just say, look, we just tried to win our way?
Yeah, look, there's been 2 games in this playoffs, Joe. One we did the 4-3-3, and it worked really well for what we were trying to do. We got a point. They didn't break us down. We won 4-0 yesterday by playing the way we play. Yeah, I get it. I understand it. Yeah, their midfielders battered us 2 times this season completely. But that's down to our midfielders to deal with that now. I think looking at the last 2 performances, there's more of an understanding from our midfielders now. I think Kamara's stepped it up 10%, 15% in the last few weeks. He's been unbelievable. It's going to be tough regardless. They're a good side. I'm really confident, but that doesn't change the fact that Southampton can beat anyone on the day.
Yeah,
They've got danger everywhere. I think even if we went to 4-3-3, there's still the same problems. The midfield need to be on it regardless. Look, whether we switch it up a little bit, whether we go back to that, it's still the same responsibility. They've still got to track the runners. They've still got to do the same jobs. I'd be very... Daniel Farke's the man, and he's the one that's getting paid all to make these decisions, but I'm not changing that after a 4-0 win. I just can't. I just think if we turn up and play the way we played with that intensity we did at Ellen Road last night, I don't think anyone can beat us in this league. I really don't. Look, you've got of course they beat us twice, but we're different now, I think. I think we've got that Ellen Road playoff hoodoo out the way, and then players playing the way they did at Ellen Road. Who's ever done that in a playoff for us that well? I don't think many have for Leeds United.
First time we've won in a playoff game since the 80s at Ellen Road.
There you go. And that's them players that did that. I'm not changing them. I'm really not. Even if Patrick's fit, he's starting on the bench for me. I'm not changing it.
I agree.
Look, we'll have to adjust defensively slightly. The way we attack, we'll have to be more careful because, look, Smallbone and Downs in the middle and Aribo in there are really good. They'll find spaces. But one thing that's going underrated that I think we did really well yesterday, when Norwich tried to come out, we fouled them and we did a good job of it. It weren't always yellow card fouls, you know what I mean? There were nice little fouls that slowed it down, and we've got to be like that at Wembley. At the end of the day, it's one game. If you need to take a yellow, you can do it. It's fine, I'm confident in this team. The team I saw at Ellen Road, I'm confident in that team. Daniel Farker might change it. He might switch it up. He might go half the game like that. He might change it in the game depending on what happens. But honestly, mate, I know I might be naive here. I'm just sticking to what we won 4-0 with. I really am. I know people say Norwich are bad. I know they are, but we were.
Oh, mate, they're the Leeds fans that are trying to take the shine off of it. That's all it is. Like, I've had it on my comments today. Seen people coming in saying, everyone calm down and all that. It's like, if you can't be excited 24 hours after absolutely battering a team 4-0 and looking amazing, and it could have easily been 5 or 6 if it weren't for Gunn, even though he was terrible at times, he also saved them. If you can't be excited now as a football fan, then I don't know when you ever will be, Joe. I mean, I don't get that, me. Like, enjoy the moments, right? They're fleeting.
Yeah, I mean, I've spent a significant part of today trying to work out how I can possibly get tickets to watch this match at Wembley, because I think it was something like you need to have been to 9 matches. Yeah. I got to go to 3 or 4 because I work weekends, so it's not the easiest. So I've just sort of desperately been scrabbling. I've got to work something out, and that's because you enjoy the moments in football by just living in those moments. There's no point going, things are great now, but in 10 minutes or whatever, what if we concede a goal? Well, you're never going to celebrate any time we score. Or what if we go into the playoffs and playoff final, we're 3-0 up or something daft like that, but what if you go, well, I mean, we could get relegated next season, so let's not be happy now. No, just enjoy the moment when you're in it, because otherwise it's just really depressing. Because what's the point of sport if it's not to enjoy the whole thing? There's no point sitting in it and going, yeah, well, there's a negative down the road somewhere. That doesn't help anyone. Just be jolly, because we don't know when we're going to get to do Wembley again. Ever.
100%. Just seeing now it's actually kicking off at Southampton versus West Brom. Southampton fans have gone all the way over to the West Brom fans. I've just retweeted it on Twitter, and it's getting a little bit tasty. So ban them. Don't let them go to the Wembley final. That's what I say.
We'll
ban
take their
fans.
tickets.
Yeah, exactly.
Great.
Yeah.
Exactly. I've been to 8 this season. I want to cry. I've been to 8.
Oh, really? Wow. Okay. Yeah, it's going to be rough. Yeah, there's not going to be... I mean, I don't think it'll go past the 2 stages, do you? It'll all be gone, and then it's 9 matches, and then they said, if there's still some left, will it? But they won't be. It'll be hottest ticket in town. But even just going down to London might be good fun, and if not, I'm sure Leeds and Millennium Square will be just as fun. I think the club should do a beam back. Then I know they did it during the Bielsa time, didn't they? So maybe do a beam back at Ellen Road, and then everyone into Millennium Square might be the way to go. To be honest, but I think it'd be easy to get them in the Southampton end, like Damar says, because they couldn't even sell out their allocation tonight. So quickly signed up. Yeah. Quickly sign up to be a Southampton member, mate. You might as well. Listen, I feel like what else is there to talk about in this game, folks, other than it being just unreal? Like, how's I was going to ask you how the nerves are ahead of Southampton, but we've done it. There's literally, I don't know what other superlatives we can talk about, lads. You need to help me out here. I'm struggling.
So before the game, before the Norwich game, I was nervous about the final. I didn't know if we'd reach the final, but now, mate, I've never been this confident. I know I'm not. Southampton are a good side, and they can beat anyone on their day. They can.
Yeah.
I think and I'm assuming we'll take that performance into Wembley, because why not? If we take that into Wembley, I don't think anyone can beat us in this league. I don't think it's too good. So I don't know. Yeah, what can you say? I had one of the best nights of my life. Something I'll never forget. Like Josie, you've got to live in these memories. This is football. This is what we live for, and I won't forget that ever. It was unbelievable, and I'm taking that energy into the next game, and I'm sure the players will. One thing I liked about our players as well, apart from Rutter, who went mental, most of them, it was quite calm at the end. They didn't over celebrate. They got in a little huddle. Everyone got together, and they had a little, minute in there where they all had a little celebration, and then just clapped, went around and clapped, and went straight down tunnel. No messing about, none of this screaming to the crowd. It was, they knew what they'd done. They were enjoying it, but they knew there's still another job to go. And I like that. I think these guys really, really want this. People saying all year that these players don't want it, that people are planning to move. I think that's all BS. I think these players now, after that performance, understand how to perform in front of this pressured crowd at the road. And that'll be the same. Wembley, it's the same amount, basically, isn't it? So I can't wait, mate. Whether I'm watching it on TV with my dad or I'm in London, in Leeds, I'll be loving it. I can't wait.
Yeah, I know. I hear you, mate.
Carl, but right now I'm good.
Yeah. Carl, you've just joined us, mate. I know you've had a busy one tonight. I don't know better than that. Just talk to me how it was for you yesterday. You'd have been at the game. Unreal performance. Was it up there for you in terms of one of the best atmospheres you've experienced?
I think that was probably the best atmosphere, I've experienced at Ellen Road. And to say that I was there at the Bielsa Derby game, obviously that went pear-shaped.
Yeah.
But up until the point it went pear-shaped, it was pretty damn good. But last night was levels. It was levels above that Derby game. And like you're saying there as well, I'm taking all the positivity and good thoughts and everything into the Wembley game. I turned around to one of the lads last night and I said, look, he was a bit nervous, and I said, look, you get back what you put out. And I was just like, just chill, don't be stressing. We've got this. Like, there were no great shapes at Carrow Road. And I genuinely went absolutely bananas last night. It was one of those games that, regardless of the result down at Wembley, it's one of those games that's going to live long in the memory. Like,
for sure, it was a total complete performance. Joe, I come back to you. Do you know what really, really what I was so happy about? There's been a lot of, I think when things aren't going well, people look for reasons as to why, and there's been some serious clutching from the fan base. No one likes each other. Somerville didn't smile for a meal and stood about a metre back from the lads when celebrating a point or the draw at Norwich, and therefore it meant he didn't care. Just all these things like that we've seen. I was sent a message off someone who said that they all hate Farker because he sacked Rob Price. I'm like, well, I don't know about Rob Price being sacked or anything like that. But yeah, it's just like, I don't know why we do this, but just to counteract that, it's like, to see how together the group actually were last night was insane. I do think there has been a little bit of selfishness in front of goal when we have been struggling, but last night there wasn't. The pass was always made to the right man, the cutback, whoever's in a better position, and it was just all so fluid, to be honest. All so fluid, and that was another great thing, seeing them all together.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of thinking in this match. As much as everything was like, it flowed a lot more and it didn't feel like people were overthinking. At least you knew there was a thought there. You knew that like there was a process going into it, because whenever you saw like Archie make a run around the outside, you knew that someone would be looking for that overlap. Or specifically on our flank, there was one point where Georgie picked the ball up in our own half. Just took on like 3 or 4 men down our wing, but that's because you could see throughout the entire thing he was just looking left and right and making sure that like there weren't options on for him to look for elsewhere before he like took on the next man. He was trying to make sure he was doing the right thing. And I think the perfect example of it is with the 4th goal. If this was back a couple of weeks ago when we were massively off form, things weren't working, I think Firpo just hits that. Because he's like, ball bobbled loose, I might as well have a go. But in this case, he's genuinely gone, right, okay, so we're putting things together a little bit. Let's have a look across the box. Oh, Cree's there. Brilliant. to him in the back of the net. Simple. And that sort of thing throughout the entire match is what I think was the difference between things being a little bit of a struggle against Norwich, because I think even if we're not doing that, we probably have enough quality to win that match. But it's the difference between that and, okay, we've just battered them and we could have gotten more if we didn't take our foot off the accelerator in the second half.
Just thinking on the free kick as well about that, like Gruev shooting from a free kick. Taking that risk, making that decision. Most of the time, we did cross that in and 1-0. Now he saw the gap. He spoke to the coach behind him, and the coach went, "Yeah, go for it," and he went for it.
Yeah,
Like a little stuff like that, and the whole Somerville stuff is like that is crazy. Like when he stood behind everyone at the thing, he's disappointed in himself. He missed a big chance in that game. He was disappointed in his performance. You know, he couldn't take people on. He was annoyed at himself. He was kind of, I guess, embarrassed that is this guy and he's the main guy and he didn't play well. That's all it was. He's frustrating himself. He said in an interview before that he's his biggest critic. When he plays bad, he's annoyed at himself. You know, it's not this, I don't want to be here. No, he wants to be here and he's annoyed and he's annoyed that he's let the fans down and he don't want to be the front centre clapping because he don't feel like he deserved it. It's fine. These players are like that. That's what they're like. That's why they are where they are, because they're born winners. And when they have a bad game, they're annoyed. They're not doing it because they don't want to speak to the fans, because they want to leave. It's because they're annoyed at themselves. Everyone was together yesterday. Daniel Farke was constantly giving instructions and they were all looking and listening to him. Look at when Perot scored, Somerville was the first one to celebrate with him. Even though he strangled him and stuff. It's funny. Yeah, he don't want to be here. He hates Perot. But yeah, it was brilliant. Everyone was together. Everyone was chatting and laughing with each other. Yeah, they're just young lads that are enjoying it.
100%. Luke, you've just joined us, mate. Welcome, my man.
Apologies for the delay, lads.
No, don't worry about it, mate. I've seen that you might not be going because you've said that every time you've missed a game, we've battered someone. So you are the good luck charm by staying at home, mate?
But I mean, I wish I had enough self-control to actually not go. But I had some good things come out of it. Elon Musk 24798544196 has just followed me on Twitter, so I must be making it.
Wait, what?
Say that again.
Somebody just followed me and it says Elon Musk has followed you. I've looked at the profile and the at is Elon Musk 2846021. You know, one of these made up ones. But it's definitely not staying at home. If I've got to go with a Bo Selector mask on so people don't recognise, I will, even in 30-degree heat. I don't really care. So,
mate, I'll be looking for that Bo Selector mask on. I
actually had one of them. You know, I had a Craig David one, and I didn't have a. What did I use now? I think that was it. You know, he's got a Kez on Bo Selector on his arm. Didn't have any Kezers, so the only thing I got was a rubber pigeon, and I was running around with a rubber pigeon on my arm.
I love that, man. What was some of your better moments from yesterday, Luke?
The Melier save, first things first. He kept us in that game. He absolutely kept us in it because we got that. The game's 2-1 there. The crowd are tense and nervous, and the crowd willed the team on last night from the first before the game right up till well after. So yeah, that was the biggest moment in the game for me. But other than that, I think there was lots of good moments. I thought Joel Pirou were absolutely outstanding. He made the third and arguably the fourth. Did he win the ball for the fourth as well?
Yeah, he was
in our own half. Yeah. And then obviously took his header absolutely fantastically. I thought those two, Pirou's moments as a rule and the Melier save were absolutely massive for me.
Pivotal.
Yeah. Like, why do we think it's taken Pirou so long to play as well as he did last night? Like, what is it? Because he was a totally different player, man.
I think it might be the thing that Lockie mentioned earlier with the Daniel Farke being more animated and giving more instructions, because if Pirou is told at the start of a game, okay, you're playing as a number 9, then he might start doing that, and for the first few minutes he'll do the number 90 things. But then from that point onwards, it's in his head, his habit, that he drops a little bit deeper and he plays a little bit more as a 10. And that doesn't happen for the full 90. Whereas if Farke is doing the whole instructional stuff and saying, no, Joel, there, you play there, you press them, you make the runs in behind. then it's a lot more likely that he's going to keep doing that. And I think that is something that could be like the fundamental difference maker between old Peru and new Peru. And it's about setting those new habits now, I think.
Yeah, and he felt the crowd. He felt the crowd as well. Like, he's running quicker than usual. He felt it. He loved it. He loved the experience, which is great for us.
I agree. He played more. He played as a number 9. He wasn't dropping that deep. He was letting Rutter do all that, which gave us options. Which is exactly why Paddy Bamford and Rutter was working so well in the season, because Paddy Bamford was pulling players around. They've only got to move into a couple of yards of space, and it's the defenders question. They've got to look over the shoulder. Even if you're running behind and don't get the ball 2 or 3 times, the defenders are going to think that you're going to do that every time, and then every now and then you shock them and come a little bit shorter. Do you know what I mean? It was an absolutely. I would almost go as close as saying it was almost a perfect performance as a centre forward from Pirlo last night.
Yeah, no, it was. Do you obviously, Luke? I know you're a Bamford fan. If he was to be fit, do you bring him back in, or do you everyone keeps
not on that? No, absolutely not. I think based on Paddy probably only still being, even if he is fit, probably at 75 at the very best, and a Paddy Bamford at 75 is a normal player at 25% in it fitness. So, I just can't see how, and it just doesn't send the right message based on that performance last night. That same team has to start the game against Saints, unless he goes for a Norwich Carrow Road type performance in the first half, and then shocks them in the second half and goes Ellen Road performance. You just don't know.
Yeah, because I feel that we do need that, Carl, almost. Yes, because I know we can look and say, oh, why? Apparently the back line when we played Southampton first time, by the way, had like Jamie Shackleton in. I think it might have had Liam Cooper in.
I think Byron was on the left as well.
Yeah, like it was a bit all over the shop. Then you look at the Ellen Road game and the game was already gone. But what I will say for Russell Martin, he did tactically switch it up. He went with 5 at the back against us. And then tonight at home, he went with 4 at the back. So he does have that flexibility. And I hope Farke continues to do that, Carl, because up to this point, regardless of what we think, Southampton, for me, have won both of the games quite comfortably. And we've not really looked like we were going to get anything from them. And that can't be the case next Sunday, you know. That first goal, I think, as well, is going to be massive, man. Massive.
It's going to be critical, that first goal. But one thing I want to say regarding Southampton is we've played them at 2 of our worst periods in the season. They've never come up against us at a point where they're up to the lead up to Christmas before we lost to West Brom and Preston. We were playing quite well. You know, we were picking up good wins, good away results as well. It started coming. Then after Christmas, we went on that massive run. Then we ended up, you know, absolutely, you know, bricking ourselves and going on a bad old spell after the international break. And that's when we played them again. I think they're going to massively underestimate us because of the 2 games that they've played against us. And I think that the fact that they were at our 2 worst points of the season, like we played them in August when we didn't even know what squad we were going to have, like you said there, Jamie Shackleton in at right back, and, you know, players a little bit all over the place, not knowing who they're going to be playing with the following week. Then confidence was a bit low when we played them at Ellen Road. Not a great judge of how, you know, they should have perceived us, really. And I think that if they go into the next game at Wembley thinking we've beaten them twice, I think it's very naive of them to think that going into that game it's going to be anything like the 2 previous games we played them in.
I agree. Anyone else got any thoughts on how we approach it, Lockie?
I just wanted to say, like, the thing about that Southampton game is, we're a different team then. I think the test at Ellen Road yesterday was huge, of course, with the history of what we do there usually in these playoff situations. But not only that, but the fact that we've got past that now. My thinking is, if we can get through that pressure situation and play like we did, what's stopping us at Wembley? You know, because it wasn't even that. It's the fact that, you know, given the history and all that stuff, we're unbelievable. The players reacted to it better than anyone I've seen from as a Leeds fan. Genuinely, it was unbelievable. And look, it's a big stage. These players, obviously, want to play in the Premier League in the future. This is a big stage. This is the time to show it. It's the last game. There's nothing to hold back. There's nothing to be nervous about, really. This is it now. You know, a lot of these players, the best players here, they won't be here next season if we don't go up. So they'll play for everything. This is it. You know, enjoy it. You enjoyed the Ellen Road performance. You take that into Wembley. Don't care who we play.
100%. I think as well, like a lot needs to be said because someone had made like a comment. It was Locks, to be fair, and I agreed with him at the time. You know, he was calling Leicester mentality monsters or whatever, and I did say like Leeds had sort of shrunk. The Leeds had sort of shrunk, or lack of experience or whatever. So a lot does have to be said for the performance they put on yesterday. You could see it like now when you go back and you see the huddle pre-match, and you're seeing Ampadu giving it, and you're seeing Firpo giving it, and him, by the way. I don't think I like a player more in that squad right now. Just seeing everything on his socials, seeing him on the pitch, one more, and that I can't believe. Genuinely, I found myself earlier thinking, I can't remember the last time I've had such a flip with a player. Like he's phenomenal. I seen Jay Cooper say on Twitter the two fullbacks with the most assists this year, open play assists, Luke Ayling and Junior Firpo, 8 apiece. So that was class to see, but. The mentality of the lads yesterday to do what they did was phenomenal, man. I think you can't get away
as well, Joe? Like, if we'd scraped through it and got a 1-0 and nervy 1-0, I wouldn't have been as confident. I'd have been like, we did the job, but this is going to be a tough one. And it is still going to be tough, but there were no nerves from them. Like, even in that one moment where Norwich came through and Meslier made the save, he was so strong and confident in that moment. And he just looked really confident as well. So, there's something in the squad at the moment that's making them all feel it. And let's see how far it can take us. And I just wanted to quickly say on Firpo as well. I said to you earlier in the chat about like it feels like he's happier now. Obviously, we're playing football. He's had a tough few years at Leeds, but see the video of his children, you know, singing the song and celebrating as well. Yeah. You know, he feels more happy to be here than he used to be. He's playing, he's enjoying his football, and he's got a bit of a leadership role in this team now, I think. And he's thriving from that. He's been brilliant. He really has. Yeah.
That game could have easily finished 5 or 6-0 last night.
Yeah.
Easily.
Easy. Like there was so many opportunities and the play. Yeah, they were relentless going forward. You could see it in Pirro, for instance. Fourth goal, won the ball in their own half and absolutely hammered at it. It was just a fantastic game to watch. Like.
Yeah, I think as well, like you make a good point because previously Farkas maybe asked them to, it seems anyway, to maybe step off it or, you know, slow down a bit, slow the game down. But within 30 seconds of the second half, Pirro had a shot that was saved by Gunn. But it was within 30 seconds and I thought, oh my God, they're going to kill him. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. You know,
one of the things that was nice to see, Joe, was that we didn't rest on his laurels last night. We just kept going for the jugular, and that's playing to our strengths. We're not a team that likes to sit back and absorb pressure. We just simply don't. That's not what our squad is. Our makeup is. Do you know what I mean? It's and just to go back. Sorry, I had a point about the one of the previous questions about the Southampton games. I think we can pretty much disregard that second performance against Southampton because we weren't informed. Not disregard it. It was a result. They beat us fair and square, but we played a completely different game plan. We had to win the game, first of all, to have any chance of automatic promotion. It wasn't a case of let's play our normal game plan, see what happens. We could see that with the squad and how we lined up and how we got forward and got caught and everything. So the first time, Southampton were in an absolute shit show, almost sacking Russell Martin just before the game. If we'd have beaten him that day, Russell Martin would have probably got sacked. You know, they were in awful form. And you know when you're playing a team like Leeds United at home, when you're in awful form, that's your big day, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? That's the opportunity. What the fuck is that?
Have you seen it, bro? Have you seen it? Yeah. So someone's put in the chat that. Does Mini-Me and does Luke and Joe give you Mini-Me and Little Me vibes? Oh, Mini-Me and Dr. Evil vibes. And Mr. Dodo's obviously decided to do a bit of a mad one. I'll share it with you now.
What's he done?
Man, I'm just annoyed that I'm Mini-Me all told. Why am I Mini-Me? Do you know what I mean?
5'6", Joe.
Yeah, I know.
Man, that was quick.
Oh, he's on it all the time, man. He's on it all the time. Brilliant.
Bless.
Brilliant.
So
Go on, mate.
sorry, just to sort of finish off after tonight's games. I know I'd be more worried about if I was Leeds or Southampton, and based on performances, West Brom could have got something out of that game tonight. The penalty, their penalty wasn't a penalty, albeit they should have had a penalty earlier on. West Brom scored first of all, but they could have had much more than one. Norwich never looked like scoring, other than Sargent's, and West Brom could have easily won that game on another day tonight. So I think we should be the more confident team going into that, despite being beaten by in 2 seasons. I think they've forgotten about that already.
100%. Boys, we've got to do this for the country as well, haven't we? Like, I'm seeing everyone on Twitter now with Rishi. We've got to do it for the country. Like, everyone might just become Leeds fans, you know what I mean? just this one time. Can we talk about Liam Cooper as well? Liam Cooper's probably played his last game at Ellen Road. There was maybe noises that he might get a year. I think last night confirms that he won't. Do you know what I mean? Because he was getting a lot of backslapping from some of the coaching staff, and then he came onto the pitch with his family and stuff. What a moment for him to have that in that atmosphere, by the way. But what a great servant he's been for the football club, and hopefully he gets to lift that trophy next Sunday. It is a trophy, isn't it? We get. Yeah. You know, and I loved that Farke gave him that moment as well. You know, man management again. Like, and here, there's another thing as well. There's literally nothing anyone can complain about Farke with, because he even brought on Joseph. Do you know what I mean? Like, he gave it us all in one game, didn't he?
The thing was as well, like, he could have brought him on in that last game against Southampton, but imagine, like, people were pissed off at that stage. You don't want to, you know, you're going to be playing in 2 more games, and one of them's going to be at Ellen Road. And like you said, Joe's man management. Yeah, you can't slag it. Like, cannot slag it.
Here's a question: Does he bring Cooper on if we're not winning 4-0?
No.
No. Maybe it lasts 2 minutes. Maybe, you know what I mean? But
no, he doesn't. No.
But
I wouldn't expect that though, Luke. I wouldn't expect that.
I don't think.
No. But that's the thing, though, right? We were 4-0 up. 50 minutes to go. The last 50 minutes felt like a testimonial. It was brilliant. We were just singing whatever songs we were on. Bringing all these players on. The players,
Barnes got it, didn't
he? Yeah.
Brilliant.
He got it for about 10 minutes as well, and then Wagner took him off, and he got it again. What terrible!
Well, that's what I was just going to touch on that actually, Lockie, because Joe spoke about man management, and there's levels. There's levels. Farke what he did, and then you look at what Wagner did, and Ashley Barnes had been taking shit for 5 minutes, and then he decided to make it the centre of attention by bringing him off, even though the game was lost, and absolutely ridiculed him. That is, I mean...
I think he knew he was gone, mate. I think he knew he was gone and thought, fuck it. You've been a right cunt to me, you have this. I'm going to make... You know what I mean? And just thought, I'll show you and give him. I don't know. Do you think he got his selection wrong by playing and not playing Boyer Sainz? Because Sainz was quite dangerous at Carroll Road, wasn't he? Yeah.
Weird.
That was a strange decision. He caused us the most problems there, like.
Yeah.
Probably did when he came on in this game as well.
Yeah, as well. Yeah, probably did.
Yeah. Go well.
I thought the referee was. I thought the referee was great as well. Like, we booked Johnny Rowe for the dive, which at the time looked like a foul, but was definitely a dive. So great refereeing. I thought he was. I thought he was class as well. I think we have to give praise to him as well.
Jared Garrett, was it?
Jared Gillett.
Jared Gillett.
Jared Gillett. It's the one that did that video a couple of years ago where he was mic'd up in the Australian League or something.
It was his last game before he came to England, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He understood the occasion, I think. He didn't go too easy on the yellows. He let it flow a bit, and then obviously when it got a bit silly, he booked people. But yeah, he controlled it. I thought he did really well, which is weird to say.
Have you seen that Julia Violinista has started to do I Predict a Riot? Have you seen that?
I don't think it'll have the same. I don't think it'll have the same impact because it strings for Yasmin. It strings for Yasmin. But hey, anything. I mean, you know what? I got the feeling yesterday on social media before the game that Leeds were going to be up for it, regardless. Even the fans on social media, everybody was buzzing. Everyone was positive as well. You didn't see many people saying, well, we're going to lose. Even the normal bloodsuckers of Twitter, I call them, that actually don't have anything nice to say, just didn't say anything. You didn't see anything negative. And so It was.
Or they'll
it
be
was-
waiting for if we lose to say, "See, we told you not to celebrate," and it's. For
I
fuck's
tell
sake.
a lie. There was one when Melier made that save. I put Melier haters and then put their finger in front of your mouth, and one person said, "Just wait," as if he was waiting for him to make a
For the-
mistake. Yeah, brilliant.
How many bookmarks did you have? About 100.
I don't even
He's
look
got
at them anymore.
loads.
They make me anxious.
Oh mate, yo, I got
Receipts.
get some mad bookmarks. I'm like, why have you bookmarked that? And I'm like, who is it? Who's it? Do you know what I mean? I want to know. It's a fucking mad. Folks, is there anything anyone else wants to say? We've had to drag it out.
I just want to say, Joe, I've just seen the video of them Southampton fans invading the pitch. It's basically, there's loads of them now. Yeah, they seem confident they're going to beat us.
Yeah, I think it's so premature that.
I don't.
Yeah.
I
don't
think
think they
they
watch the
know
game.
that's the end of their season. That's why they get.
I was so glad we didn't do a pitch invasion last night.
Oh,
One of the
yeah,
lads
yeah.
asked me, it was next door, are we going to pitch invasion? I was like, nah, forget that. We're bigger than that. We'll try and do it at Wembley if we can.
Yeah, 100%.
I will.
yeah.
Has there
Big
been a
David.
pitch? Has there been a pitch? I mean, this might sound bad, but can you? Has there been a pitch invasion at Wembley?
New
I'm sure
Wembley,
there
I
must
don't
have
think
been.
so.
It'll be a hard
Oh,
thing
the
to do, I
grass.
think.
Yeah.
You think?
I think someone mentioned something about like a moat thing around the pitch, maybe that makes
Yeah,
it very
I heard that.
hard. But if anyone can do it,
We'll find a way, won't we?
Yeah.
Where there's a will, there's a Leeds fan.
I'll take a telescopic ladder with me in my pocket.
Yeah. What's that?
Luke talking about disguise. You'll be disguised as a stewardess.
Luke, I saw this, just still on topic, saw this video of these boys who figured out how to get into festivals and anywhere for free. All you have to do is wear a high-vis vest and carry a ladder.
Yeah, that's
You
class.
get in anywhere, man, apparently.
Love that. Well, folks, I don't think there's anything else for us to say, and I'm hungry and want a pizza again. I had one to celebrate last night, and I'll probably have another one tonight. Luke, you were last in, mate. You can give us the final word. What's the final word?
Wembley.
Nice. I think that's fair. Right, folks, smash a like on the video. Make sure you check out Ought to Know Better. Watch them on. If you weren't watching them live, go watch that stuff back. Make sure you check out Lockie. Make sure you check out Joe Blackburn. Enjoy the rest of your evening. We've now got, 9 days, is it? 9 days? Yeah, to build up for the biggest game in recent history for Leeds United, because it takes us back to the Premier League. And with the 49ers, we stay. Do you know what I mean? We stay. And what's going to actually give me the most gratification if we do go up, right? And this is where we can really bring the receipts. Because all that I predict to riot and Leeds are falling apart again bullshit. Out of the 3 promoted teams, if we go up, we finish above points deduction Leicester and Ipswich. We will do, because of the money that'll get invested. The squad will be unrecognisable. So then we can really bring back them receipts. So let's hope we can do it for that just alone. Peace out, folks. Enjoy your evening.